It's like, I've lived with people for 2 months now. I've lived with 5 people for 2 months now. And now I'm just learning things. But I'm not putting loads of pressure on myself because that sets off my anxiety. So I'm just kind of chilling. Because when people are here, I'm more stressed and anxious about it. Because I don't want to fuck up in front of people. Does that make sense?
That video was of me in 2020. I had just turned 18 in a global pandemic, and I was struggling with university because I did not know that I was autistic and had ADHD. Here's my story. Hi, my name is Skylar. I have both ADHD and I am autistic. If you do enjoy the video, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe and follow. It really helps the channel out, and I'm a disabled creator trying to make a living out of my hobby. After that video, I went home, I got a haircut, I worked on my mental health, and I got better. I went on antidepressants, I discovered myself again, I started unmasking, and it just felt so good. I was so happy. And I was at my parents' house, so I didn't have to worry about bills or anything. I finally said goodbye to the flat where it all began at university. And then I moved into a flat with my partner. I finally cut my hair, and I forced myself to go to class. I got drunk and went out with my friends. I then entered the workforce as a care worker, a fast food worker, a barista, and then a customer service worker in the span of 3 years. Throughout high school, I was the person that could do no studying until the last minute and then pass everything with flying colours. So I didn't know how to study. I brought that with me into university and it continued to work. Now knowing I have ADHD, it makes so much sense why I would leave things till the last minute. I would leave things until maybe the day before, the week before, and then I would cram. I wouldn't even study. I would just find what I needed for the assignment, learn it all as fast as I possibly could and put it together. I once wrote a psychology lab report in 5 hours when you were supposed to work on it for 2 weeks. With me being autistic and not knowing it, it wasn't just university work that was troubling me. It was social relationships. I had so many misunderstandings and miscommunications with people because of the way that I am and the way that my brain works. I lost a lot of friends, got in a lot of arguments, and had a lot of stress around my social relationships. A lot of people have experienced this, neurodivergent or not. When you're at university, you're usually 18 to 20 years old. You're literally learning how to exist. And you're learning how friendships are, relationships are. You're learning your boundaries, your limits. You're learning everything about how to socialize. So I'm not alone in this. But add on top of 2 neurodivergent conditions that make it difficult for you to understand social norms, social rules, and to understand when to be quiet, you have got a problem. And I had that problem. My first 2 years of uni were having friends and losing friends because of miscommunications, misunderstandings, and overstepping boundaries and not understanding when I was in the wrong. Of course I've improved now though. I'm 21 years old, almost 22 years old, and even if I wasn't neurodivergent, I have matured and grown. The fact that I am neurodivergent has made it so much harder. I had a suspicion that I was neurodivergent, but I wasn't diagnosed, so I just spent this whole time thinking I was a bad person who didn't want to improve or learn, and who didn't care about others' feelings. Going back to university, I couldn't do university and work at the same time, but I had no other choice. So I burnt out. My first lecture of 3rd year, I left the class and researched what I could do to stay in uni. I eventually decided to change my degree, and I changed it to philosophy, which unfortunately was just as hard, if not harder, than psychology. I did my absolute best. I had 4 exams to do in 1 week, and I burnt out completely. So here I am in 2024, and I am now officially diagnosed with ADHD and autism. This explains so much. This explains my social issues, it explains my academic issues, and it gives me the opportunity to try again. I spoke to my disability and inclusion service at my uni, and they have been more than helpful. They have given me a study skills tutor, they have given me a mental health support worker, and various programs on my laptop to help with lectures, note-taking, and organisation. I am now officially restarting my psychology degree. I am taking a leave of absence for this semester and starting year 3 in September of 2024, so this year. This video was really hard to make. I think it's because I realised how bitter I was about the 4 years that I've spent at uni, and I kept berating myself and getting angry at myself for wasting 4 years. I passed every single module, every single exam, and I've still been at uni for 4 years. That's something to be celebrated instead of to beat myself over the head with and call myself a failure. So I took a walk, I listened to some affirmations, I cuddled my cats, and I did incredibly well, and I should be incredibly proud of myself for what I have achieved in those 4 years, even if it isn't a degree. I tried things out, they didn't work, and I decided to start with psychology again on my own. Nobody made that decision for me, so instead of trying to berate yourself for what you didn't do, figure out what you did do and celebrate it. This is just a trigger warning. The end of this video will be discussing generalised anxiety disorder, health anxiety, trauma, and other mental health difficulties. If you're not comfortable with this, please close out of the video now. Thank you. I couldn't end this video without talking about the severe mental health struggles that I've had at university. In first year uni, I developed generalised anxiety disorder and clinical health anxiety. I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep, I couldn't socialise, I couldn't take care of myself, and I couldn't do uni work. It's been 4 years and I'm still dealing with the consequences of burning out so harshly in first year. From first year to third year, I would have panic attacks, meltdowns, and flashbacks whenever I closed my eyes, whenever I went to bed, and whenever I had a shower. I consider first year of uni to be a traumatic event. It has impacted me for 4 years now. Luckily, I've managed to have therapists and medication and support to be able to get me through it. But mostly, it's been my partner and my friends and my family who have been able to help me get through this. It wouldn't be my university journey without acknowledging this, but I didn't feel comfortable putting it in the main part. I felt like putting it as an afterthought, because that's what it is to me now. If I'd made this video a few years ago, it would be the main subject of the video, it would be all I talk about. But it is an afterthought, and I want to move on. It's been 4 years. Not to say that 4 years means you have to move on, but for me personally, I want to move on. I want to not think about trauma when I think about uni. So I'm putting it at the end of the video, and if you're here, thank you for listening. If you're in the position that I was, it does get more manageable. I don't want to say it gets better because, as I said, it's affected me until now. But you learn to manage it better. You learn to manage your life after trauma, and you learn to manage your life as the person you are now, not the person you were before your trauma. I hope that you know that you are not alone, and please reach out to someone if you're struggling. I know it's hard, but it's necessary. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope to see you next Tuesday.